Peter.
And this is Unji.
And this is Two Kims, One Pod. The only podcast in the world that we host. All right, Unji. We had a real technical difficulty start to this day. There's so many things working against us. I think the tech gods are mad at us today. The settings have been changed. Someone's coming in. The Wi-Fi's fucked up. So we're going to try to get through this episode. But you know what? I'm feeling great because I haven't, obviously we haven't caught up in a week, and I have a lot to talk about this week because I did a lot of shows and I want to talk to you about it. And this week I don't have as much booked, and I'm already feeling like sour and like down about it. So let's get into it. But before that, it's time to get into some highlights and lowlights of our weeks in a very special segment called
Rock Hard Tops and Soft Flaccid Bottoms.
All right. I'm going to start with my bottom this week.
Okay. Gaping bottom.
I'm not going to name my gaping bottom this week. I'm not going to name names, but it's writer strike right now. Writer actor strike in LA, everywhere actually. But especially in LA, a lot of us are kind of like running around feeling a little fucked up about this, and like a chicken without its head, and really no sense of ending. Talks have broken down. So I think a lot of us are starting to like really panic and go out to like have lunches with each other, and like, that kind of like doing the Hollywood kind of like glad handing handshake, socializing type of thing, right? So that's been that's starting up. I guess a lot of people have been doing it, but I'm starting it up. Anyway, all that to say, I was asked to lunch by a writer.
Okay.
Meaning I was invited to lunch. Okay, so I was like, okay, great. So we get to lunch and we're standing and ordering. So, and then I order, and then they end up ordering on my order. And so I was like, oh, okay, I guess they're paying for it then, right? Because like I'm going, oh, I'll have a burger, and they go, and I'll have this and this and this. Meaning like, if I order and then you ordered right behind me on the same ticket, I'm assuming you're going, I'll pay because you're ordering on my ticket. Right?
And you've been asked to the lunch.
Exactly. Yeah. So you invite me to lunch, and then you order on my ticket, right? And then after they order, we stand there like this, and I'm like, and then she's like, and I go, and I get like panicky, so I go, okay, here, and then I pay for the whole meal.
Wait,
and then
at no point do they interject to be
offer.
Like, oh no, I've got this, or Venmo.
No, to their credit, they were like, at the end, they were like, oh, we can split it, and I was like, oh. It's okay. I'll get it. You get the next one. And I was just like, what's going on here? Like
at the end? And it's put that way?
Yeah. So it was like, why did you order on my ticket? Why didn't you just let me hash out? And then you buy your own lunch. And listen, it'd be different if like I was an executive producer and this person was a staff writer. And like, they're like, oh, you're a 선배, you're above me. You make way more money than me.
Yes.
Of course you're buying, but I'm a staff writer. Of course. So like I have no status and no money. So like for you to order on my ticket and not offer to pay, it's almost like making me like have to go, oh, 내가 낼게. I'll get it because like I'm older. I don't know. And it felt so awkward. And then they were like, okay, should I Venmo you? And I'm like, why is that a question? Why don't you just go, oh, I'll Venmo you? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Wait, has this person never been outside?
Here's what I'm thinking. We don't
this is like such psychotic behavior.
This is crazy
on all
behavior.
Levels. Yes.
To their credit, they just had surgery. They just had major surgery.
On their brain? But, I mean, I don't understand. Like, what is this excuse? Like, what are you talking about?
I'm thinking they had major surgery, so maybe like I should feel bad and I didn't send flowers. Whatever. It was just like totally
was the surgery?
low. Like they were
How
out
major
for
was the
like,
surgery?
like opened the whole thing, cadaver up, and
guts were out. Guts were out.
Like stomachs were stapled and like whatever.
Okay.
Not aesthetic, like
So the
internal
guts.
injury. Yeah.
Yeah, guts are out.
Guts were
Okay,
spilling.
okay.
Yeah, organs are on the table.
Okay.
It takes a long
Okay.
time. So, on top of that, like I didn't send any flowers or like do anything. So like maybe I was thinking like, oh, I owe them. I owe them this meal.
Is that
Anyway,
the nature of the relationship?
there's no nature of the relationship. It's just like we're friendly, we're friends, but like
Yeah.
I didn't even know they went through surgery until that lunch. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. It was just like one of those moments where I was like, this is fucked up. Like, I'm struggling. I have no money. I have no job. I'm on double strike.
Yeah.
And I'm still here paying
Yes.
for someone else's meal. And not someone who's like way junior than me that like is a PA.
Sure.
That's like, oh, can I pick your brain about the industry? That kind of thing.
Sure.
You know, even at that point, if you wanted to pick my brain, you should be paying. That's the etiquette. The etiquette is if you invite someone else out, you pay.
I think we as a society need to regroup. I think what we need to start doing is like,
Yes.
we need to review the rules. I think this is a testament to that. We need to review the rules.
We need to review
like,
the rules.
you know, when I teach, we need to review the rules, because to ask you out to the lunch already presupposes you are treating. At the very least. At the very least, you're splitting the bill.
Hello, right? You're going Dutch.
At the very least, we're splitting the bill.
Yes.
And secondly, the fact that it went through your mind that because this person had gone through major surgery, that you maybe it was like, you didn't send flowers.
Yeah.
Bitch, if you didn't know that they were going through surgery. Also, let's just make this a hard and fast rule. If you are not in the top 30 people that this person knows, top 15, top 15.
Okay. Uh-huh.
You know, like let's MySpace it, like whatever the top, whatever.
Yeah.
If they're not in that circle, if you didn't text them to let them know how the surgery went, you cannot expect flowers. You cannot. This is not a wedding.
A free meal, bitch. Like that's not my. And then like I'm starting to spin. So anyway, the whole time the meal, I'm eating and I'm watching them eat and thinking like, should I ask them for another lunch so that they pay me back? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's so petty though. That is so petty to be like. And then if I invite them out, then under my rules, I have to pay. So I'm like, forget the whole thing. I'm just gonna like, this is a wash, and
and you're never talking to this person again.
I'm gonna avoid it. If I see that on picket line, I'm turning right around.
Did you at least get some fries? Like, were there fries?
I got the fries. Yeah.
No sharing.
Sur la table. For
Crazy. Peter.
I know.
That's crazy.
So that was the bottom for me. My top this week was, I did tease it, that I had a lot of shows this week, a lot of killer shows, and I'll keep this quick. My favorite moment was on Saturday night. I was booked on a show that was like a mostly Asian crowd. Like I think there was like 99.9% Asian, one white lady with red hair. So white minorities
Same
included.
Thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Same thing.
She is a white person of color.
Yeah. Really, redheads are like that. They are really, for real, like the white people of color. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just because of the freckles alone. But yes, go on.
Yes. Anyway, so I was nervous because this show, not only did the host come late, like the host literally drove, parked, and walked on stage. Like literally.
Oh my
it was like,
God.
it was because they were late, and we were like, "What's going on?" So the host arrived late.
Sure.
So not his fault that he arrived late, but not his fault that like the crowd wasn't really revved up. And you know
Okay.
this. You've done plenty of Asian centric shows. Not
I
the
have.
best laughers. Not the best laughers.
It is an issue with our
Yes.
people. Yes, it is an issue.
What
I'm glad you
is
brought it up because we're going to talk about it
Is it the
today.
politeness? I don't know if it's the politeness.
Have you ever met a
or
polite Asian person? What are you talking about?
No, I mean it's the like
Like-
oh yamjone, like you know, like very Japanese schoolgirl covering the busted teeth vibe.
Yeah, yes,
So
yes.
that kind of polite. So not like laugh out. We're not known to be laugh out loud cacklers. You and I are an aberration of our ethnicity, of our race, you know, of our people.
A truly unfortunate aberration.
Yeah, we're the mutants. So, and then we insist on getting ourselves on a amplifier, a microphone, which is psychotic. But the two loudest fucking Asians do not need a microphone. We could just be screaming into our phone, our laptop speakers. But anyway, so with that being said, it's not at a comedy club. It was at like an ASEAN like hotel loungy restauranty like cool hip spot. So like already high ceilings, open space, not conducive to comedy, right? So the host
Sure.
comes in late and he's trying his best, but the audience is not really giving him much. And he gets off and he's like, whew. And then
Yes.
the first comic goes up and just kind of, I'm not going to say eats it, but is struggling.
Yeah. He's eating with chopsticks, so it's not a full shovel into the mouth, but he's eating.
And
He's snacking.
And not only is he not eating something like a noodle that it could be easily picked up
Yeah.
by the chopstick, it's like disparate grains of short grain rice. So he may never eat. So he's up there. He's up there struggle busting. And then the next comic is a white girl who I have seen absolutely fucking murder. Absolutely.
Okay.
She's like, imagine like Dane Cook / who's that guy who got in trouble for grooming young girls? Crystalia. Crystalia.
Yeah.
You know that kind of comic who's very like yes,
Yeah.
big energy,
Yeah.
and like kills the
A lot of
room.
act outs. Yeah.
Lot of act outs.
Yeah.
Crickets. Absolute crickets. Absolute crickets.
Because Asian people love act outs. Yeah.
They love tomfoolery, but she.
They really do.
Yes.
Yeah.
To the point where at the end she closes, and I know this kills because I've seen her close with this, and it's a joke. She does speaking of act outs, she did a impression of a white woman finding out that Hitler used to beat his dogs, and yeah, already funny, right? Because you know where this is going.
The premise is so funny. Yes.
Yeah, you know where this is going. And then she does like a stupid ass act out of like a Karen lady going like, well, now I'm really pissed at him.
Yeah. A bison frigé? A bison frisé?
Yeah. So she and
My bison frisé?
my shit too. So usually that like absolutely kills, but it's getting squat. And then she literally goes, well, okay, this was fun, and like marches up the stage. And
Truly,
I'm standing there
that-
going like, yeah, you know that feeling.
To say, well, that's when you end a set that way, when you have to announce the end, and now I will be leaving.
Yes. Or when comics get married, like, well, you've been an awesome crowd. And, that kind of like...
Like to treat the audience like a boyfriend, a long-term boyfriend you're pissed at, passive-aggressive. Like,
just
You know
to
what you
leave
did. If you
and
don't
then
know
come
why
back
I'm
begging
mad,
for
yeah.
more. Yeah.
If you don't know why I'm mad, then I don't want to have to tell you. That's the reason why we're fighting.
Exactly. And you should reflect on that. Anyway, so she left on that kind of energy, and I'm up after her. And I'm just like, oh boy, this is going to be a fucking nightmare. And I go up there and I was like, listen, Asians, I need you to laugh out loud. I know you're not used to doing that. And some of you out here look Japanese, so you're covering your fucking mouth. But I need to hear the goddamn laughs. And then they were like, like it was like a little bump, right? And then I look around and I see that not only is it an all Asian crowd, but it is an intergenerational Asian crowd. So there's moms and dads, aunties and uncles. So it's not just like
What is the show? Why are they there? That's crazy. What's happening? Why are there ajumas there?
Yeah, but not Korean, like all Chinese, right? And a Chinese auntie, to me, I don't have that much experience with Chinese aunties. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so I'm like, I don't know how to navigate this. This is new. So I just called it out and I was like, who the fuck brought the aunties and the uncles and mom and dad? And, they're all, and finally they laugh and everybody laughs. And then I start making fun of them for being out this late and, and they were all dressed nice and whatever. And finally everybody started like laughing at them. And then I started making fun of myself and everybody started laughing at me. And then I went right into my set and people were like in. So I was like, oh my God, thank God. And so anyway, that was my top, that I got to crack a icy audience that was really loud. And there was there were so many people there. Like, 150, 200 people? Like, not 200, like 150 people.
At an alt show? Like in an alt show, non-comedy club?
Yeah.
150? What is this fucking show? That's crazy.
It was in Monterey Park where all
aunties?
the Asians are. Aunties. It was all Chinese. Some Vietnamese.
Chinese people are all Chinese. I mean, truly, Chinese audiences are really hard, though.
They're tough,
Like,
right?
I've done a lot. They are. They really are. Like,
what is it?
Yeah.
Chinese Americans are tough to crack.
And I think it is culturally they are very different because they are the dominant culture.
They're in charge.
I wonder if I wonder if it's the equivalent of like when you do all like really white rooms as well. They also don't like to laugh. Like maybe when you're in power.
Oh, it's not that funny.
Yeah.
Your life is joyless. You're saying struggle is good.
Yeah, you're like this stupid person hasn't figured out how to be Chinese.
Yeah.
This stupid person hasn't figured out how to be a white rich person. Like, I don't know. There's something about maybe having all the power. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. They don't want to be embarrassed. That's a huge part of
that
it.
That part. And I think it was because they were in front of their like, and if there is one auntie in the room, that's spoiled. It's like a drop of ink in water. You know what I mean? It spreads.
Yes.
So that everybody's hackles go up. You know what I mean? Like, and everyone's like, oh,
yeah.
Should I laugh at this guy saying faggot? You know what I mean? Like, they don't know what the rules are. They don't know how to be social with their elders. Like, it was very that kind of energy. So, anyway, I was very proud of myself.
Being social with your elders is definitely a thing. Yeah.
It's so hard. Imagine like we were there with like our parents and ajumas. We wouldn't know like how to enjoy ourselves. We'd always be like checking in and being like, are they okay? Or are they getting offended? Or, there was a lot of that kind of like checking in with the elders type of energy.
Yeah. I don't know if I would ever go anywhere with my parents that like expected them to react like in like
publicly,
this sort of
to publicly
thing.
show enjoyment. No.
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
That's a recipe for trouble.
Only food. Yeah.
Even then, like you're eating fast and leaving.
Exactly. You're not enjoying it. No. You're eating it.
Yeah. So what were your tops and bottoms this week?
That's a really great top. Like to feel that way. Did the person after you do well too?
I didn't hear because I had to leave. I actually, I was supposed to headline, but I asked to go up early because it was my friend Zach's birthday. So I ended up going in the middle. So I didn't really see, but I assume it went well. Because once you crack the room,
or did they close up again?
No. I think once you crack them, they're as long as the comic's not like dropping the ball, and it's a comic I know from Twitter actually. So anyway, we've never bet, but I'm sure he did great.
Okay. My bottom this week was I also did an Asian show.
Oh no.
And this week it was not the bottom, but it like feeds into it. My ultimate
It's
bottom.
a bottom feeder.
It's a bottom feeder.
Yeah.
I did an all Asian show. It's been going. It's a monthly now at Laugh Factory, and
major
it was
minority.
they were tight.
Or
yeah, model majority.
Yes.
And last month's was so great, and it was full of laughs because there were a ton of white people there. And this time,
Wait, is the lineup all Asian, or is the audience supposed to be Asian as well?
both. But
That's the
this
goal.
is Chicago, so yeah, that's the goal. And so this is Chicago, so there's a lot of white people there, and but the lineup is all Asian. Okay. And I don't know how they're going to sustain this because we're already scraping ours are already a repeat. They're going to have to just and I don't know how we're going to sustain this, but
I'll fly back.
Yeah, that's the only way this is going to happen. I'm going to start importing.
Yeah.
But like it was good. It was good. A great show. A tight audience that was harder to crack. And also it's like because there's so many white people in the audience, like it's a little different because it's not your actual own. Like if I've done really all Asian shows where like most of the people in the audience are also Asian. So there's like a
shorthand,
like, shorthand and, like you can kind of speak out of like to your own in a specific way where like if there's a lot of white people in the audience, like you don't want to necessarily roast us, you don't want to roast that way. You don't want other people to hear how we roast ourselves. Yeah. And not in front of company sort of vibe,
not in mixed company.
Not in mixed company, right. And so that was fine, and the show was fun, but the audience was a little tight. Like the no laughs got to roll. Like where you get that sort of rhythm of it and stuff. Yeah. It was just like and down, and down.
Just
and
polite murmuring.
And that room, like a laugh roll can really kind of get going in there. It's made for it for some reason. And so that show fed into a very intense therapy session that I had. Sometimes. Yes. So, if you've ever spiraled about something, have you ever spiraled?
This morning. While we were trying to get this podcast started. And all running into all the technical difficulties. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, we're never going to get this figured out. And I have to go. I have a massage plan.
You have a massage. So like it was spiraling, and then I got into a therapy session that because sometimes you really do have to sometimes prepare for a therapy session. Like, when you've happened upon or you hit something and it hits just the right sound of like spiral and you just kind of like spin because it's therapy and there's someone there like reflecting it back to you. And you're like, actually after the therapy session, you're like, I don't know if that helped. Like you are actually spinning in a way where it's like someone's just helping you
uncovered
spin
more
harder.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, like when you're in a revolving door sort of situation, you spin out and you're not in the building, you're outside again.
Yeah.
Like that's where I was.
Out on the street.
Out on the street. Like, and I was just trying to get in and actually was spiraling and then spin out back out on the street and you're still not inside the building and it's deafening. The street noise. And so I like that fed into that low, like really bad therapy session, and that led to, so today is my anniversary, my wedding anniversary.
Yay! Congrats. Which one is it?
Thanks. Lucky 13.
Scary.
So
Okay.
that whole like spiral about like not my marriage, but just like passage of time and like what are, you know, that like that sort of vibe of the week has really been my bottom. My top is, you know, the actual celebration of my wedding anniversary, sure. And I did have 2 shows at that same, all my shows have been at the Laugh Factory this week. So that's, I don't know what that means, but I had a great show on Friday. And, you know, that's a part of a top. But I will say, you know, having this been the bottom, just to like circle back and have it come full circle, like being able to overcome that spiral and find some solace and safety, you know what I mean? Like get there on my own felt really good. So like I had a show last night at the Den. But it wasn't really a show. I didn't do set. It was, did a podcast actually. And it was so fun. And typically, especially given the week and the spiral I was going through, like anything would have been cause for like an excuse to spiral downwards again. And I felt this is actually going to go into a thing that I have, for the bitch, get into it. But I like chose to stop spiraling. I've never done that before. Where it wasn't exactly like where there wasn't an external thing that would buoy me up and like ricochet me back towards the top. You know, like there usually was like is an impetus to this coming out of the spiral. But I
like,
chose.
Oh, free tacos. And you're like, oh, okay. What am I doing? Yeah. Something like, oh, a hot dog. Something simple that will lift the spirits. But you're saying that you did it to yourself? You were the internal force?
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
And
I mean, like, that's it. Like, I was responsible for both my bottom and my top. But it was the agency, right? The choosing, the will to come out of it.
Whoa.
Felt especially powerful.
That's awesome.
It felt crazy. I mean, like, what you're... Yes. I mean, it's kind of exactly with your top as well. Like, you created that top. You willed it to be.
Yeah.
And...
Yeah, it didn't just happen to me.
Exactly.
I made it happen. Yeah, absolutely.
And
that's so cool.
I know. It's funny that our tops are dovetail that way because it was 100% like a choice I made. Because honestly, sometimes especially when you're spiraling like that, like the shows I had at the Laugh Factory afterwards, like I had good sets, blah blah blah, but right afterwards, back down to the spiral, back down to this, you know, and you know what? Can I be honest with you? I'm gonna be.
Please.
The spiral was it was because I was bullied. That's my bottom. I was bullied in a way that felt crazy, and I was
by your therapist.
No, not by my therapist. By another comic.
What?
And, yeah, truly, and it felt crazy.
What did they say?
Bullied. They didn't like, it was just like an energy and like are you stupid? Like that kind of bullying. Like,
are you stupid?
Okay. Not like, that's not what they said, but like that was the energy. Like, oh. Because I was like just being myself. I was, being annoying and like, I was being too worried. I was being too wordy and obnoxious. But that's just me. I'm annoying like that.
Annoying and obnoxious and unbearable, but stupid? I've never... No. No.
But like that energy
I've never thought stupid with you. I've called you a lot of names.
But no, it was... the energy was like of being bullied by someone that didn't know me well enough to do that. And like, when I say stupid, like, you know, when someone is acting a fool and you kind of do this, like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like that energy.
Oh, so we're
And
doing that?
yes. And where it makes you feel very small. That was, and I allowed myself. That's just the spiral where I allowed myself to be this, to feel that way and be affected by this person, and then, the top was me like choosing to stop and not spiral and being like, that cunt. She's a cunt.
Yeah. She's a cunt. And
she's a cunt.
She's ugly.
She's
the fuck. That's.
I mean, it's just like that
you
choice.
should never be hurt by an ugly person. No, we don't do that.
She's actually not ugly at all.
She sounds disgusting.
But that was my bottom and top. You know, it's like, it was kind of cool to be able to, you know, pull myself out. Oh, wait, yeah. Peter, hold on.
What?
There's actually someone at the door.
Oh.
I gotta go. I gotta go get it. It's because it's time for Trauma Llama Ding Dong.
Trauma Llama Ding Dong.
So my trauma this week is,
aside from getting bullied by an ugly comic, besides that,
who's actually quite attractive. I can't even let them. Okay, so my trauma this week is, I was remembering Peter, do you remember the first moment when you realize your perception of yourself is not accurate? Like
every time I see a picture of myself, every time I see a photograph of myself, I'm like, that's not me. Wait, what? Where did those tits come from? I'm constantly like, that's not my body. I have like body dysmorphia, but like not in the inverse direction. Because I don't know what it is. When I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, fuck, he's hot. And then whenever I see a picture of myself or I'm on TV or a video or something, I'm like, who hired that guy? You know what I mean? Like, who went to central casting for him? Like, it is, I am floored every time I see myself captured.
Truly. I mean, I truly, like, I feel the same way about every time I see a picture of myself as well. I'm just like, what? Because I do think that's not, because I'm killing it.
I know. I think I look so much better than when someone like sends me a version of myself. I'm like, unrecognizable, that person. I think that
I'm like, this is actually rude what this person did to me. Like,
yeah, like what kind of camera is this?
Is this person? Yeah, it's what I think too. I'm like, this is unflat. Like, this person is my enemy. Like, did I do something to them? I like, you know, but this is. The trauma is like one of the first times where my sort of like perception of myself was, I was disavowed of what I thought I was. And it is the first and only time I was ever in a spelling bee. Now,
oh no.
Like I mean, you know this, like when you are a precocious young person, and like adults are giving you like sort of praise as like a smart kid, as a gifted smart child, you really like go off on it because you're also a child. You don't really have a keen sense of self, right? It's only what adults have given you. That's how you perceive yourself, really, up until like puberty. And I just remember thinking like, oh, I'm gonna kill it in the spelling bee. Like, I read a lot. I know how words are spelled. I'm good at this. And I studied, and I thought, like, not a lot because I didn't think I needed to. Like, I just thought among my peers, I'd have to be at least the best.
Top 1%.
In the school. Yeah, in the school, certainly. Countywide, I was less sure. But, like, you know, I knew that I was going, that's what I was destined
you were going
to.
Far.
I was going far. I was at the very least getting to the next level.
Yeah,
and
you had
when
dreams
I tell
of state.
you, state, absolutely. When I tell you, I mean, I was looking up like how to get to DC. Like, I thought I was going so nationals.
How old were you?
10. This is 5th grade.
Okay.
And this is like on the heels of me like impeaching my class president. Like I'm Machiavellian. Like I'm really doing something for myself.
A successful political coup has been staged, and you're feeling yourself.
I'm feeling myself. When I tell you I lasted one round. The second round, I mean, there's still a ton of people on the stage. It wasn't like they have been whittled away quickly. I was in the second round. Oh, no. The word was candidate.
They were on the 3-letter words?
Did not make it. I was done. And the humiliation. When I tell you that I was out at candidate and I was like devastated as I sat down. Devastated. Ugh. And the feeling, the heat of the shame on my face is something I'll never forget. And the thing is, people came up to me and they're like, "Oh, I knew you knew how to spell that word. Like, there's no way that you didn't know how to spell that word. It's so unfair that you got out. Like, that's so crazy. Isn't it crazy that you got out of that rule? The system's rigged against you." And as a politically minded like 5th grader also, to be out on the word candidate.
Oh man, horrible.
So yeah, that's one of I just remember, and then having to lie about like, oh yeah, I totally knew that word. It's fucked up that I got out on that word. And when I think about like, I think that's the that's the beginning of like me. That is my villain origin story, I think. Like, aside from, my first memory really being when I came, how you had your, like...
so you're saying that your villain origin story is the trauma of thinking you're going to do better than you did?
I'm being so embarrassed. And then having to lie.
What's turning you into the Joker? Is that you were too puffed up by the people around you that when you failed, your ego came crashing down.
And this is why we should not support children's dreams. Like
exactly.
This is what. Hey, what's yours? What's yours this week?
My minor trauma this week is so. Everyone knows on this podcast that I was deeply closeted for a long time. And in high school especially, I was desperately trying not to be gay, to sound gay, act gay, to even like anything that would be considered gay. You know what I mean? Like, we would watch Britney Spears music videos and be like, "Oh, she's so hot. Look at her in her little midriff," and I'm like doing the most. So like, that's who I was being when I was 15 years old. Cut to Halloween weekend. We're all getting together at my friend Keith's house, and everyone's like, "We ordered weed. We got weed, and we're going to smoke a joint at the park." And I was like, "Oh my God, I've never done this before. So crazy."
Yes.
And we go to the park and I smoke like a couple of hits. And you know how they say like, first time you smoke, you don't really get high, right? So I'm like,
no, I got high. Yeah.
You got high? So like the first couple of things I smoked, I was like, "Oh, I don't feel anything." And everyone's like, "Your first time, blah, blah, smoke a little more." And I go, "Okay." And I'm like coughing up, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, I kind of feel a little like giddy, but not much, right? And they're like, "Whatever, let's go drink." And then we go to the 당구장, the pool hall, which we always hung out. We were like Flushing miscreants that hung out pool halls all the time. So I'm at this pool hall, and all of a sudden the fluorescent lights, when we walk up to the pool hall, the fluorescent lights hits my eyeballs, and I start fucking like, I'm like tripping. I clearly like smoked and drank too much. I'm crossfaded and I'm like, boom, vroom, 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 and I'm like, oh my God. And my friends are like, don't worry, just go throw up. And I'm like, okay. And I go to the bathroom and I can't throw up. I'm trying to like
a teen wastoid.
Right, exactly. Like throwing up will help everything. And I'm like shotgunning my mouth, like trying to pull the trigger. Nothing's coming out. And I end up going to the sink and pouring the water into the sink and splashing my face. And all I could feel is like this delayed sensation of the water hitting my face. Again, first time getting high. I don't know what the fuck's happening.
Yes.
So I think I'm dying.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I go outside. I'm like, guys, like, I'm freaking out. And everyone's like, don't worry. Just like chill out. Like, eat something greasy. You know, these guys have all smoked before. So they're like, you're just fucking, you know, it's like if I ever saw someone freaking out, I'd be like, relax, just eat a fucking chocolate. And I go, no, I gotta do something. And everyone's just like annoyed at me. They're just trying to like play pool, like high and giggling. And I'm like freaking out, like, you know, tears in my eyes. And they're like, just go away. Like, go sit down and like chill out. And then I sit down on the bench and the room starts spinning. So I'm like, I can't sit down. And all of a sudden I'm like, I know what to do. So I went to the middle of the pool hall. So there's like 16 pool tables all around us. I'm in the center where my friends are like betting and playing like 9-ball for money. And I start doing a straddle split. And and I do a huge split. I go,
Peter, that was not the word. That is not like, the word I thought you were going to say.
I know. No one thought I was going to do that. I just dropped and my taint was bouncing on the carpet. Like, boom, boom, boom. And my friends were like, what the fuck are you doing? And everybody started laughing at me. And I didn't realize that, like, because I don't know why in my head doing the splits would alleviate this feeling. I don't know. I'm 15. I'm freaking out. But what I didn't realize
I can't believe you could do the splits.
Very limber. I took Taekwondo for like 1 year.
Wow.
Anyway, so I was doing the splits. And, you know, a little gay boy, there's nothing a gay boy makes a gay boy happier than to be able to do the splits on command. So
truly,
I think maybe that's what inside was coming out. Like, go to your like happy place. Go to your like safe zone. So
and bounce and knock on that taint. Knock on that taint.
So, mind you, everyone's laughing at me. People are stepping around me to shoot pool.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I get zoomed out of my body and I see the stage picture of what I look like in the middle of the floor doing a straddle split. Not even a front back split, like side to side split. And how fucking gay that looks in front of all these youngs wearing leather jackets and
to bounce on it? To bounce? It's the bouncing.
The bouncing.
The splits are straight.
Yeah.
The splits straight. The bouncing
Homo. Anyway, so after that day, all through high school, that's the day I decided to be even more straight acting because I had to like make
live that
up
down
for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that set me back deeper into the closet, and that's my trauma mom of the week.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right.
That's
well,
so
hope
crazy.
you enjoyed
that like you were knocking
Yes.
on the door to go back.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And the bouncing wasn't because I was like acting like I was bouncing on a dick. Like I was bouncing because like it helped with like the feeling of like the splits, you know, instead of like, I don't know. But it doesn't matter. All right, guys. It's that time. It's time for our final segment in which we introduce something we're absolutely obsessed with. Sit back and bitch, get into it. All right, today, speaking of bouncing on that dick, I have something to plug today or show you guys.
Ooh.
I started taking this because I saw an article in the New York Times talking about the Ozempic thing and how like crazy it's gotten.
Yeah.
And how we can lose weight or whatever, do the same thing of like hunger suppression through something natural, not like a bunch of fucking peptides or whatever the fuck shot up into your whatever. So one of the things they were, yeah, exactly. One of the things they talked about in this article was something called psyllium husks. Psyllium husks, okay? Mm-hmm. And it was this exact thing, which is like this crazy looking packaging. It says trademark some kind of P&G telephone company. It's like this is straight from India, okay? It's called Isabgol, Isabgol. It's a type of plant. It's a vegetable product derived from Isabgol seeds by the milling process. It's the upper coating of the Plantago ovata, which is highly purified by sieving and winnowing. So what it is, it's like little like husks of this seed, and it's basically fiber. And the reason why I got it was not only do I need better poops, but there's a whole subreddit and gay community that swear by this product for butt sex. So there's a lot of products out there like Pure for Men and all these, like it's basically all it is fiber powder mixed in with a bunch of like sugar or whatever to like make it taste good. It's like Metamucil basically, but this is literally just the husk, no additives. There's no other ingredient but the husk. And all these gay websites swear by this. And you take 2 tablespoons with water at night before you go to sleep, and then you become like fucking regular, and you're dropping logs, baby. Okay, because honey, I was Miss Spray and Pray for a long time.
Yeah.
And now
That's so crazy to say. Spray and pray.
Anyway, so I've been taking it for 2 days now, and I will say the husks do it absorbs the water content and does get the poops like congealed into a log form. And I'll tell you what, having good BMs really like makes your morning good, and you're just like you're focused, you feel good, and you're ready to go. There's nothing worse than having like a nervy or like IBS-y stomach all day, and you're just like running
sour stomach is the worst.
The worst. And my anxiety, that's where it lives. So like it really does like trigger the IBS and all that. So get into it. It's psyllium husks. They sell all different kinds on Amazon, but this is like the OG one from India. It's been around for like 85 years, I think. So go check it out.
Wait, how much was this one?
Oh shit. It's leaking all over my desk. Oh my God. Oh my God. The box has a hole on it. Oh my God. Oh shit. Hold on. Okay. We'll just leave it there until the end of the pod. Anyway, yeah, maybe put it in like a Ziploc bag or something, but get it. It was very cheap on Amazon. Very, very cheap.
Yes, I'm on that TikTok as well. Like that and berberine are supposed to be very good. Like mimic the sort of
my mom
regulatory.
Loves berberine. I got a bag from her for her from there, berberine.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's also a supplement.
Not Burberry. Pabari. Okay.
Berberine. Fucking stupid. But I've tried that as well. It's like it's all supplements are just like, the main issue with me in supplements is like I'll be gung ho on one and then I'll just forget. And then once you forget, you're done. You just never take it again. and you just have it in your house. But it's good.
I know.
But are
that happened
did
to
it
me with like
immediately help you, Peter?
collagen. It helped. That's what I did with like mushroom powders, like
Yes.
all of that. Yeah. But this was an immediate effect. Like all those powders, you don't really know. Like, oh, it's great for the brain activity. Like, okay, how do I fucking know? But like poops, you know immediately. So like I love that. Like I can see the effect of it immediately, and it does work.
Okay, cool. Get into it.
Get into it.
Mine is another concept this week. I did have a product, but I'm going to save that for next week because this kind of goes in with my tops and bottoms this week. My thing is resisting temptation.
Okay. Sounds interesting. I've never done it before. I'm not sure if it's for me. I don't know if that's for my ministry, but go ahead. How and why?
Because especially when I say temptation, I'm saying very specifically something that you know to be harmful or bad for you. Like, I'm not talking about like, oh, like a piece of chocolate or this food or whatever. That's fine. It's not doing anything to your moral integrity or affecting how you live your life. I guess maybe a little bit if you have like GI issues. But ultimately, like when I say resisting temptation, I mean actually something that is bad for you, like the spiral. I resisted that temptation to continue to spiral. I resisted the impulse in myself to want to self-flagellate. And
How?
I resisted.
What was the first step?
I literally in my mind recognized this is what I was doing, recognized that this is an impulse in myself that I like to indulge in. And I don't know what it is. Like, here. I have been listening to a specific sound. It is like a 4 megahertz tone that is supposed to it's supposed to help with like mental noise. And I've been listening to it when I work, and just instead of music or anything else or podcasts, I've just been listening to this tone. And it has helped quiet a lot of noise. Like, It's a little bizarre. And so when I say I was able to resist the temptation, I mean that because my mind has been a little more quiet, I was able to heed that impulse. Like that, I was able to heed the call within myself to resist the temptation. So like, I just said no.
Right. Okay. So what's this tone and where do we get it? Maybe that's something you could plug.
It's on
that's something
Spotify.
somebody could look up and be like, okay, I could resist temptation as well. Do you think it'll help with your cigarettes?
I mean, I don't know. I don't ask.
Yeah.
But I don't want to.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to stop smoking at all.
Oh,
I think it's one of the most interesting things about me.
I mean, you are correct. Without that, I'm not sure you'll have anything to talk about. Okay, so it has to be something that you don't want to do. That is hurting you.
Yes.
And you can Google, or you can search for 4 megahertz tone on Spotify.
Yes.
And listen to that all day in order to help you not make the same mistakes over and over again. Okay.
Yes. I just resisted that impulse and resisting that temptation. And I will say, like, the benefit to it, one, is not engaging in that behavior, sure. But the snowball effect of being able to overcome something like that and overcome the temptation, resist it, that really snowballs into like feelings of agency, feelings that you can like kind of, it snowballs into you feeling like you can make that choice again and again and again, not just with that temptation, but with other things.
Yeah.
So that kind of bled into other stuff for me this week, and it's been very powerful. But the 4 megahertz, I heard about this on a TikTok about like how CIA operatives are able to like visualize success, and they listen to this thing, and they're able to see and visualize themselves accomplishing something. And so I was listening to it. Yeah, I was listening to it before I did the big show in New York, because typically I would have freaked out and really spiraled about it. But instead, I listened to this tone all day, and I was able to remain calm. I don't know if that was my best set. It certainly wasn't the best set I've ever had, but it was. It was remarkable.
You were the best at not spiraling about the set. Okay,
yes.
There's a start. That's a good start. Yeah. All right. So if you're dealing with crippling anxiety, listen to this 4 megahertz tone and stop. Okay? And that was bitch.
Just stop.
Get into it. All right, that is our show for this week. Thanks so much for listening. If you're enjoying the show for absolutely free, go check out the Patreon if you want to support us. That helps us tour and pay for flights and stuff to come see you guys on the West Coast and Midwest. We are setting up some new shows, so look out for those announcements. And also, give us a review on the Apple, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you can do reviews. That really, really helps us. Algorithm, AI, you know the deal. Thanks so much for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.